Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and today's show presented by Manscaped. It's smooth sack summer here on the Raiders Report, and to make sure that you're a part of the family, go to manscaped.com, use code Raiders for 20% off your entire order. Coming up on today's show, we're going to look at some Raiders rookie news. We got the latest on Jimmy Garoppolo, and I'm telling y'all right now, you're going to want to see this story here. Marcus Peters, the latest on him, and if the Raiders do end up signing the veteran corner, who are going to be the corners that end up getting cut? And then the latest around Marcus Epps and some more safety secondary news here on the Raiders Report. Now, to make sure that you guys never miss anything going on around the silver and black, the number one thing that all of y'all need to do right now is subscribe and turn on those notifications. If the Raiders end up signing Peters, I'm going to be going live here. If you're looking for news coverage 24/7, 365, we have put out a video on this channel every single day for the last 3 years. Also, since it's the month of June, we're giving shout-outs to all of our new subs. Shout out to Anthony, Christopher, Mark, Macabro, Young Struggles, Game Gods, and then Matt Parker. I know that y'all are part of our family. If you could do me a big favor, take that link that you see below, send it to some Raider fans, and continue to grow the show. So the Las Vegas Raiders, they finally signed the real Baby Gronk. Shout out to Michael Mayer, which means that there is only one player left from the Raiders 2023 NFL draft class that is yet to sign. His name is Jakorian Bennett. And I had a few people ask me on Twitter, IG, Mitch, is there an injury? Is there a reason? Should we be worried? The answer is absolutely not. They are going to get a deal done with Jakorian, and I really think what ends up happening is they gave Michael Mayer a lot more guarantee money because the Raiders traded up for him. If I'm Bennett, I'm saying, wait a minute, y'all traded up for me, which means I want a little bit of extra money, maybe a little bit more guarantees, which the Raiders are going to iron out, but nothing to see here with Bennett. Soon, the Raiders will have all these guys signed. Let's now talk about the latest around the Raiders quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, and according to The Athletic, he's been an off-the-field participant during OTAs. I know a lot of people were worried because he's got the injuries, he's not practicing on the field, but everything that I am reading and hearing is that he has been doing a A-plus job off the field. Garoppolo has done a ton of rehabbing, which he should be looking at his contract and looking at $72 million and being like, shit, I should probably get in there and rehab a little bit more. He looks to be on track for training camp, which is definitely a good sign for the Raiders. And according to The Athletic, Garoppolo's work has included learning the scheme, watching film, and just getting more acclimated with the coaching staff, his teammates. And even though he doesn't have the ability to go out there on the field, one of the reasons why they brought in Hoyer was that the other 10 players on the offense, then Hoyer's number 11, would still be able to get acclimated with this team and ready to go. That way, when Garoppolo is 100% healthy, it's like riding a bike on that Josh McDaniels unicycle and continuing to ride. Now, this is what the Raiders quarterback coach, Bo Hardigree, had to say on number 10. Jimmy and the guys have been doing great just working together. They're taking each install we give them and grow through that and kind of put everything in the bank. So when you see that, you got your quarterback coach that sounds pretty confident where he's at. My question to all of you is this: is Jimmy Garoppolo going to play in the preseason? Give me a yes or give me a no. Chugs is saying we're going to make this the pinned comment on today's Raiders Report video, which means you're about to get hit with a YouTube bad break, so scroll on down and answer this question right now. My answer is I hope that you end up seeing Garoppolo in the preseason for multiple of reasons. I mean, go back last season. The Raiders started 0-3. The offense looked extremely rusty, and I get it. Garoppolo was already played in the McDaniels system. That was a really long time ago. Like, you're going all the way back to 2016 was the last time that this man played in the system. So, to avoid the rust, to make sure that he doesn't look bad, I want to see Garoppolo in the preseason this upcoming year. I also think it'd be good for McDaniels. I think it'd be good for the entire Raiders offense. On top of that, if I understand Garoppolo's contract correctly, and if I get this wrong, please call me out. But I do believe when I read the fine print, if Jimmy G gets injured during the preseason and can't pass a physical prior to week 1, the Raiders can cut him without costing them anything. So if I know that that's the risk where it's like, all right, like, yeah, it might not be great to lose your quarterback, but if you do, well, then you can still get the money back no matter what. I want to see Garoppolo in the preseason, and if he can't make it through the preseason, what makes you think he's going to be able to make it through the regular season? Coming up next here on the Raiders Report, Marcus Peters news and cornerbacks that could end up getting cut if this team decides to sign the veteran corner. To make sure that you never cut your Ken Stabler down there, get your hands on some Manscaped products, 20% off and free shipping with promo code Raiders at manscaped.com. And again, it is code Raiders. I always say that I think a great Father's Day gift is to get your dad some Manscaped, and I know a lot of people think that's weird. There's nothing wrong for wanting your dad to look good, whether it's the Lawnmower 4.0, whether it's their razors, whether it's all the beard trimmers. They have the perfect package. They have shampoo, they have conditioner, deodorant, the weed whacker. I'll tell you this, Richie, if you're watching, you need the weed whacker. I've seen the ears, I've seen your nose, and when the hair's sticking out, it's not good for anybody out there. So no matter what the gift item is, I'm telling y'all right now, get this game going. And I'll tell you what, I don't think that there's anything wrong for wanting your dad to look his absolute best. And I'm telling y'all right now, all my groomsmen, they're getting Manscaped stuff. My dad, getting Manscaped stuff for my wedding. Why? I want their beard games to be looking 100%. So it's manscaped.com, 20% off and free shipping, whether it's a Father's Day gift, whether it's a early wedding gift, whether it's a 4th of July around the corner and I'm going to be going home to visit the fam. If you want to look your absolute best, Manscaped is here. Whether it's below the belt or above the belly button, Manscaped's got you covered. Appreciate for them sponsoring the Raiders Report. Let's talk about Marcus Peters now. And the latest report around him is that the Raiders seem likely to sign Peters before training camp, which has been noted. It's been covered. I talked about this yesterday on the show. The two sides have remained in touch since his meeting on May 15th. And you go back and you listen to what Graff and I have said on this show, what I have talked to Graff. He's very well connected that the deal has been on the table for quite some time now. The reason why I am reiterating this is because in terms of today, Thursday, there hasn't been anything new. However, though, it is important to know that if the Raiders go out and sign Peters, they're going to have to cut a dude. They got 91 players on the roster right now. They're allowed to have that extra player because of the International Pathway Program player. So they can keep him. But if they go out and sign Peters, that means then they have to move on. So what I figured I would end up doing, because the number one question I got yesterday in my DMs, and remember, you can always hit me up, Twitter, IG at Mitchell Renz 365, was, okay, Mitch, if the Raiders end up signing Peters, what does that do for the cornerback room? And I'm going to tell you exactly what the implications are if they decide to bring him in. I expect this team to keep 6 corners, and maybe they decide to keep an extra player because they do have some depth there. However, the amount of 53-man rosters that I have made, I've combed through this team, and I've done a few different varieties, if you will. I see 6 to 7 corners. However, when I love this team the most with my 53-man is when I have them keeping 6. So let's say Ziegler, McDaniels, they go out. They sign Peters. These are the 6 corners that they would end up keeping. You're going to keep Marcus, obviously. You signed him. Nate Hobbs, Duke Shelley, lock him in. Brandon Faison, $3.2 million guaranteed, lock him in. Jakorian Bennett, they drafted him. And then Tyler Hall. These would be the 6 corners that I would see the silver and black keeping, which means the players that end up getting cut, there's 7 of them. Amik Robertson ends up not making the 53-man. David Long Jr. doesn't make my 53. Sam Webb, who made it last year. Ike Brown, who the Raiders signed this offseason. UDFA, Jordan Perriman. Azizi Hearn, UDFA, doesn't make it. And then Bryce Cosby, a player that, got some work last season with this team. Now, even though that those players don't make the 53, I would see the Raiders keeping 3 practice squad corners. I would keep Amik if it was me personally, but I just see Amik being like, you know what, man, I want to go somewhere else. I know that I can play in this league. I know I'm good enough to make a 53-man, and he'll go and he'll make a team somewhere. From a practice squad standpoint, these would be the three corners I would see as the Raiders keeping. They're going to end up keeping David Long as a practice squad. They would keep Sam Webb, and then they would also keep Bryce Cosby. Coming up next here on the show, the latest news on Marcus Epps. I've been waiting for some updates on the safety that the Raiders signed, and last season he played with the Philadelphia Eagles. And the latest on Epps is he is going to be your main starter at strong safety. That's not anything new. The important news here that we have gotten is that he is expected to lead all safeties in snaps this season for the Silver and Black. Last year, on the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl run, he played the most snaps on that Eagles defense with 1,095. The other reason why he's going to get a lot more work is because Epps is a strong safety, okay? Not the best in coverage, but also has that ability to play up near the box. So if the Raiders do still go out and they sign another safety that they can drop back into coverage, they can do that. They're going to use Epps near the line of scrimmage, and then they're also going to use him more as that roamer, strong safety. They're going to play some three high safety looks as well. The other note that the Athletic had here was that Tre'von Moehrig, he's going to start at free safety. Nothing really new there either. We knew that it was going to be Epps. We knew that it was going to be Moehrig at free safety and strong safety. Here's the thing, though. The Athletic is reporting that Christopher Smith will push Moehrig. And day one, you're going to see Moehrig out there. If Moehrig struggles yet again in his third year in the NFL, second year in the Patrick Graham system, they're going to look to Christopher Smith. So when I hear that, I think, okay, Epps, going to make the roster. Tre'von Moehrig, going to make the roster. Then they are very high on Smith's ability to play free safety, and he's not the athlete that Moehrig is. He is a very intelligent player. You go look at a lot of the Georgia Bulldog defenses. He's been a part of some of the best defenses that college football has ever seen. You go look at some of the quotes that Kirby has had to say about him. A lot of the teammates. He was, in regards to many, the leader of that defense. The man that a lot of the younger players look to for Georgia. What does this organization love? A good leader, and that's exactly what Chris Smith is. So when you look at this Raiders safety depth chart right now, okay, there were Isaiah Polamayo, there's Jaquan Johnson, then you got Chris Smith, Roderick Teamer. If you're going to make the call right now, and it sounds like the Raiders could potentially keep four safeties, who's going to be the fourth? If you know it's Epps, if you know it's Moehrig, and then it's Chris Smith. My question out to you is this: who is going to be the fourth safety for the Raiders? I believe it's going to be Isaiah Polamayo, and the reason is, again, of that key word, versatility. He can play strong safety. He can play linebacker. He also is the nephew, or cousin, one of the two, to Kennedy Polamalu. He's also related to Troy Polamalu, NFL Hall of Fame safety on top of that. I will admit, though, a player to keep an eye on is Jaquan Johnson. And the reason why I'm going to bring him up is this. I could see the Raiders getting creative here. And what if they had decided to keep Polamayo, but they kept him as a linebacker? Because there are reports that they could use him as a linebacker this season, which then could open the door for Jaquan Johnson. It could open the door for Roderick Teamer. Teamer's the better special teams player. Johnson's the better safety. I'll leave it up to Patrick Graham to decide what he wants to do with this defense. So, before we leave all y'all today, the rookie news was Michael Mayer has finally signed Jakorian Bennett as the only rookie left on this team. Still has yet to be signed. Jimmy Garoppolo is expected to be ready by training camp. I think that he should play in the preseason. Curious to see what you guys have to say. Marcus Peters, the meetings have gone well. They stay intact. And if he ends up signing, guess what? Some difficult decisions to make at cornerback. I think that they end up moving on from David Long Jr. And then the latest around Marcus Epps is he is expected to be the main safety in terms of snaps for the Silver and Black this upcoming season.